The Killing Joy.
Day in and day out, I teach young minds to be open and understanding. But lately, I've been feeling so trapped, like something is missing. Going over boring lesson plans, listening to crappy presentations, and dealing with the occasional teenage fights has become a pain. My purpose for living was growing smaller, to where I wanted to end it all. One morning, I really tried to be more present while teaching. But it came out in a weird way. Overwhelmed by the excitement, I took my dress shirt off, and needless to say, the dean didn't take the vision of me walking around in an undershirt very well. I was warned not to get so comfortable with the kids, but sometimes I just can't help myself. One late afternoon, I was tutoring a female student. My life's mission became clear. Walking around the classroom, I could feel Aubrey's eyes on me as she utters, "Mr. Adams, you look very cute today." Immediately, I turn around to ask, "What did you say?" The young 18-year-old girl flirts with me by lifting up her skirt just above the knee. Taken aback, I went and sat down to ask, "So how many grown men have you screwed?" She stares me down and bites on her pencil before saying, "I'm not a little girl, Mr. Adams." It was in that moment that I knew she was my chosen person. Then the hot temptress makes her way over to my desk, where she leans in front of me. My curiosity begins to run rampant as I ask her a series of questions. She didn't say anything, but I could see how her facial expression changed from a happy look to a confused one. "So, you enjoy being a bad girl?" "Mr. Adams, you're starting to creep me out." "No need for concern, Miss Marks. I'm the good one," I whispered. I made an attempt to ease her mind. "Aubrey, I think you're very beautiful." The young lady made me feel calm, especially when she kissed me. As I grabbed the back of her head with one hand, a feeling of dark bliss takes over. Slowly, she clutches her throat, unable to scream. Using a sharp razor blade, my other hand splits her windpipe. "Miss Marks, you're not going anywhere." The gushing blood paints my desk a pretty shade of red. The next day I walk into my classroom feeling alive. As I took roll call, "Larry Mace." "Present," he said. "Aubrey Marks." "Miss Marks?" After pretending that I didn't know where she was, an unexpected visitor appears.
Mr. Adams, I need to speak with you for a second. We have a situation regarding Miss Marks, the dean said.
Following him out into the hallway, my nerves begin to get the best of me. Does he know what I did? My heart starts pounding fast as I waited to hear the information. "Mr. Adams, Aubrey Marks' parents reported her missing last night. The police won't officially get involved until later on today. We don't want to alarm any of the students, but I thought you should know," Dean Turner said, after letting out a loud breath. The words, "I hope they find her soon," came out of my mouth. He pats me on the shoulder before responding, "Yeah, hopefully she'll turn up." As I walk back into the class, one of the students informs me of my unconscious smirk. "Did the dean give you some good news, Mr. Adams? Because you are smiling big." "Don't worry, Lacey, I'm not getting fired yet," I replied jovially. From my desk to the police station, a woman walks through the building holding a few files. When she reaches her destination, the lady didn't waste any time by slamming them down on the desk of Detective Jacobs. On the phone, Jacobs holds the receiver and turns his chair in her direction to say, "Hey, Gloria, that's uncalled for." Continuing to walk through the police bullpen, Gloria doesn't turn around, but instead she gives Jacobs her middle finger. "Fuck you!" The other cops hurl laughter and ooze at him as the detective gets back to his phone call. "Okay, yes, ma'am. I'll be in touch." Jacobs hangs up the phone. His partner laughs and said, "Huh, so I guess that thing with you and Gloria is over." Detective Jacobs shakes his head and changes the subject by saying, "Okay, let's get back to work." Meanwhile, over at the school, more company enters my room as the day wraps up. "Knock, knock, Mr. Adams," a man said. After looking up from a stack of papers, I speak. "Yes, can I help you with something?" "Perhaps you can. I'm Detective Quentin Jacobs." The guy introduces himself with an extended hand. Standing up, I return the handshaking gesture. And then Detective Jacobs inquires about Aubrey Marks. "When was the last time you saw her?" As I was answering his question, my eyes briefly looked down, only to see a speck of blood next to my desk, right by the detective's feet. Well, Detective, she showed up for tutoring, stayed about an hour and left. When he starts to scan the class, I took it upon myself to step on the blood. Jacobs turns around to me sitting on the side of my desk, trying not to look suspicious. Did you, notice anything out of the ordinary with Miss Marks? No, she was in a pretty good mood until... Never mind. The cop was eager for me to give more details, and so he probes. What do you mean, until? I told him that Aubrey got a call on her cell phone, and soon after she seemed upset. Jacobs nods his head and thanks me for my time. Detective, how did you know Aubrey was even tutoring with me? Standing in the doorway, Jacob's phone goes off, so he rushes to tell me before leaving. Miss Langston. As I ponder, maybe it's time to go see what our extraordinary librarian is doing.